record. So you're going to see the pop up on your side, and then we're going to go live to Facebook. Boom, boom, boom. Video live stream. All right, live. If y'all are watching on Instagram, thank you for hanging out. We're getting the Facebook Live set up. What's up? Keep hanging out with us. Share on your timeline, public. All right, Miss Twana, we're getting ready to go live on Facebook. Awesome. Okay. You should see the little thing pop up on your side.
I got it.
Okay. Fab, fab, fab. It says we are live. It is now streaming live. Yes. Oh, okay. Lighting. Okay. I see what you did there.
I had to get outside, get some sunshine.
Yes, absolutely. All right, my dear. We're going to just stay on here for 30 minutes. We're just going to have a quick chat. I'm so glad that you agreed to jump on here with me and just to share your experience. So tell the people who you are. Tell us who you are.
Oh, goodness. Well, my name is Twana Rogers. God, you and I go back from Kent State University days. I would say the year, but that's going to put some age on it that I wouldn't care to put on it. But
you know what? We're proud of that.
We're proud. 07, 08 class. But nonetheless, I actually started with Samba more, still, doing dancing Samba, all that good stuff. But in terms of NOLA movement, I started with Ignite, actually before Ignite, I believe, because we did the retreat. You got to jog my memory. That was in the middle of the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah, August 2020.
Yeah. Yes, 2020. Yep. So like dead set. And it was like kind of like soon as the pandemic started to really make everybody like completely nuts. So that was really cool. So I stepped in. Previous to that, I was really just looking for something that was not just therapy, but was also just a cross between therapy and life coaching. I think a lot of times there's a difference, you know what I mean? It is one and the same, but like, I would say, nothing has to be wrong to improve yourself. Yeah. And, and NOLA movement definitely is that next level. Like, well, you've gone as far as you can go, as far as you can take yourself. You need a coach, right? And that's what Nikkei was for me. And, and she introduced it. I kind of dipped my toe in the water and kind of came full circle. So that's kind of where I'm at now on the other end after retreat, Ignite, and then one-on-one coaching. And now I'm kind of going into, in the fall, kind of like still one-on-one coaching, but I kind of have more of the tools that I need to have. So it's more of like an accountability type of thing.
So let me jump in here because I want to make sure I introduce myself for the people. If you're jumping in, if you're watching on Instagram, hang out with us. But my name is Nikkei Olabisi Green, and I'm the creator and chief movement leader at NOLA Movement. I believe deeply that when women are well from the inside out, we can change the world. And I believe that happens through movement, mindset, and community. And so I serve that mission by creating high energy spaces for women to step into that next best version of themselves. So that happens through coaching, through workshops, through events and retreats. And I have one of my amazing clients here, Twana, who's just sharing about her experience in the NOLA movement community, going through the Ignite coaching, going through one-on-one coaching, attending retreats. So hang out with us. if you're on Instagram and you have questions, I'm going to bounce back and forth between looking at y'all. Hopefully y'all can see me looking at y'all and talking to Twana. But Twana, you shared a little bit about, you kind of gave us an overview about all the things that you've done at NOLA Movement, but tell us about you. Like, who are you? Like, mother, businesswoman, like tell us who you are.
Oh, that's like a dissertation right there, honey. But
okay, well, give us the cliff notes.
Right? I mean, I'm a single mom. I have a 7-year-old. I am a public servant. I have a full-time job. I work, for the federal government, which I love my job. I am an aspiring entrepreneur myself. So I'm working on that piece of things. Goodness, I love dance, travel. Nikkei and I have in common Brazil. I lived abroad. I've done a lot of stuff.
Fala português? Hey.
Yeah, it'll follow. But, and so for me, I think, life is hard, you know what I mean? But I've been very fortunate to have great experiences. In terms of business, I'm looking to start actually my own business consulting firm. So I'm finishing up my MBA, fingers crossed, in the fall. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. So as you can see, saying all those things, you could know why I need help. I needed the help in the direction.
So that's amazing though. Like, you are a mom, so you're a single mom, you're a busy woman. And I'm curious, like, thinking back to when you decided to say yes, let's just say Ignite, the group coaching, and even Ignite one-on-one, like, what was your thought process? Like, what was, would you say, the problem that you felt like you were like hitting your head up against? Like, what was the problem?
Well, it's twofold. So, I think and I guess I speak specifically to, like, when you're like this academic, professional, whatever, you know what I mean? And you kind of feel like you have it all together, you just keep going and going, and you like ignore the symptoms, you ignore being tired, you just kind of write it off as to, like, I'm not grinding hard enough, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not eating right, I'm not exercising. And, so you make all of these different, I guess, excuses for why you're not getting to the next level. But I think for me, it was just like, I was just stagnant. I wasn't really sure how to tackle the things that were, I guess, ailing me or bothering me, or sometimes I didn't even realize that things were even an issue. And so once I realized even before I met Nikkei, because I had done some research, like, oh, well, I know people have life coaches, and, I always honestly thought that was for rich Caucasian people, not gonna lie, you know what I mean? But, I'm willing to try any and everything once. So I researched it, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then I was like, ooh, that's too much money. No, I'm not spending that kind of money for somebody to tell me about me. No, ma'am. So that was kind of where I was.
What made you say yes? Because I think you actually really tapped on something that is so real, I feel like, and that I've seen in my work for professional Black women. We're busy, we're grinding, we're taking care of our family, our kids, and we don't like necessarily feel like we need help. We're not used to asking for help. We're not used to surely sharing our life and what's going on in our head and our heart with anybody. And then to see the price tag, like, what do you think made you say yes? Like, what was the thing?
Definitely. I think I wouldn't say it was one single solitary thing, honestly. I think that I had just gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, I need to invest in myself. And I think I had pretty much at the retreat, I would say, if I had to assign it to one thing, there were some speakers at the retreat, and I was just hearing their stories. And I mean, these are people who are way more professional than I, had gone through way more than I had gone through, seasoned in ways that I had only hoped to become. And just hearing that they didn't get there alone, you know what I mean? And realizing, like, sometimes it could be therapy, it could be coaching, it could be, and somebody told me like, even LeBron James has a coach. He didn't just get good at what he
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
And so, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a single mom. So, having extra money, there's no such thing as extra money when you're a single mom. It's just money that there's just an emergency that hasn't happened yet. So it's always that fear. But once Ignite rolled around, I kind of baby stepped into it because I knew it was something through the retreat. I knew it was something that I wanted to take on.
Yeah.
Just being around all of that power and wanting to have access to people who had proven to know more than me.
Yeah.
So the retreat was the first thing, because it wasn't a huge financial commitment. It was like, a nice little pair of shoes. Okay, I could do that. You know what I mean? It was like, so I kind of dipped my toe in. And then and I think so I think the realization was that we invest in, when I say I'll say I invest in myself in silly ways. I'll go on vacation. I'll go, and not saying that that's silly, it's amazing, but I'll go and buy a purse or some shoes or some perfume, $100 bottle of whatever.
Absolutely.
And but I think it's the idea of spending money on something that's not tangible that we have to like get over. That's the part. But the intangible stuff brings on the tangible, right? so
Yo.
so I did that. And then when I stepped into that part, I just wanted more. And then when I got into the Ignite with the group, that was like, I was like, oh my God, I really have to keep going forward, because it was all of these women who I could like feed off of and who had some of the same insecurities. And like, I was like, wow, I'm not the only person that is dealing like this. You know what I mean? And like, to be able to not just heal yourself, but to heal alongside other people, it was like really game changing. And like, you build that community. So even now when I'm having bad days, I can jump on a WhatsApp with other people that I worked with and be like, look, girl, this is a bad day. What you know what I'm saying? So
Oh my
it was
gosh,
all worth it.
you touched on so many things. And the first thing that I want to pull through is that you made the decision. Like what I heard you say is that you went to the retreat and you felt the power of being in community with other powerful women, and you decided. You decided at that time, like, okay, this is something that I need, and it's something that I'm going to invest in. And then the other thing I love that you like brought out is like really thinking about how we invest and how we spend our money. And we're so used to spending our money on things that are tangible, right? Shoes, purses, getting our hair and nails done. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We absolutely should. Hair done, nails done, everything should like look and feel good. And there has to be a time where we, especially as adult grown ass women, like when we decide that we're going to invest in ourselves.
And to touch on that and kind of like to add one more layer to that, I think to make the decision, you have to be tired of where you are. Like, I think that is the bigger thing. It's kind of like when you've done everything, you know what I mean? When you got up at 5, it's like, there has to be something more. Like, I had gotten to a point for me that I had done everything that I knew how to do to push through like my difficulties. You know what I mean? And it was a few difficulties, like, for example, just like anxiety. And I'll be honest, like just struggling like with that, and that what brought on the pandemic. And even that piece was keeping me from doing stuff that like toward my business, like doing business research and taking that extra step. And I'm like, okay. And then I didn't realize there were other things in my life that I was going through that was feeding that anxious feeling. You know what I mean? And so it took somebody else outside of me. And it took other people outside of me, because I was just too close to it. I was just too close to who I am and all the things that I've been through. So I needed to have somebody else assess it for me, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but I was at a point where like I was just exhausted with spinning my wheels on trying to move forward. And so I was willing to that's probably what propelled me into making the investment more than anything.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. So share with us about your experience, right? Because Ignite is a 12-week program. We meet every week. And then the one-on-one work, which is my most intimate work, like that is work that you really do have to interview or do an application to even step into that work with me because it's so intimate. That is intense, right? We go twice a month for 3 months and then once a month for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm in your face, I'm in your head, I'm in
Yeah.
your ear, I'm in your
Yeah.
WhatsApp, right? So
Yeah.
share with folks like what your experience was kind of in the midst of it, how you felt, like when you felt like the shifts start to happen for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, being completely honest, like that first couple of weeks, it was just more of a chore. And I was just like, because it's when you get into it in the fall, it's kind of like right when the season changes, right when you coming off of summer, it's starting to get dark early again. And
It's
I'm
like a
like,
buzzkill.
I know. And I'm just like, for real. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I done been at work all day. The last thing I want to do is come home on a Monday night and talk about my problems. Like, I want to grab my glass of Chardonnay and lay it down. so it was hard. But then I think it was like kind of a roller coaster. So then once the group started opening up and everybody started to get comfortable with each other, and we really started to have real meaningful conversations and like kind of just keep it real about the things we were going through. It really kind of, you started to look forward to it and you're like, oh, okay, like this is how my day was. So, and there were times that it was difficult, but like it's kind of like a good workout. Like you never regretted it when it was over.
Yeah.
I think toward the end, I left it just really having a clear framework of the targeted things that I needed to work on. So I left there being a lot more clear on, okay, these are the things that aren't perfect, but these are the places in my life where I need to focus more, which kind of set up the stage for me to move on to the one-on-one and talk and where I felt like I was able to talk about things. There's some stuff obviously you're not going to want to talk about in a group setting.
Yeah.
And so, but there are things that come up and with the journaling was a huge thing in the group setting because you can kind of journal and you can write down stuff that you like, ooh, I'm going through that, but it's not that bad. You know what I mean? So, and not to rag on anybody else, but you can always like kind of, unfortunately as humans, we take solace in, not being as bad as the next. But nonetheless, it definitely gives you comfort in the fact that 99% of the things we go through, we really don't go through them alone, even when we feel like we do.
Absolutely. So talk to me, and we're about at time, so I want to make sure we like honor this time, but like talk to me about the shifts and the transformation afterwards. So like how has your life changed since how has your life changed since completing both the group coaching and then the one-on-one coaching?
I definitely will say just the way my stress level is so much more manageable. And I mean, because I'm different, you know what I mean? And like the way I see my perspective is different. The things that used to like take me out and have me going off and just kind of out of sorts don't even really bother me anymore. And it's not because like the thing of it is like coaching, therapy, even any type of self-care maintenance is not a magic bullet. I would never sit up anywhere and say that, oh, you're going to go through this program and you're going to be healed and amazed. But it's something magical about when you invest in, like what you put in is what you get out, and what you invest in yourself. And when you start to really get real with yourself, you really start to see your worldview about yourself starts to change. And there was an issue that I was going through and I had been grappling with it for years. And then when I realized that I was just holding on to it too tight, and as I realized that I had the ability to let that go, it was a person that that just didn't even faze me anymore. And you just start to see things differently. And even like some of the breathing techniques and meditative techniques, like, you know, you have tools, you're offered like the tools so that when the things that will inevitably happen, you have a place to go immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's safe, that's healthy. You know what I mean? And like, you know, if you get stressed out, you know, one of the biggest things I can share that I've learned is that you don't owe anybody the instantaneous part of you. So at work, in a relationship, anything, if you're upset, if you don't know an answer, if you don't know what to say, you can take a minute and you can not speak. You can walk away. You can breathe. You can take a minute. And that minute is everything sometimes. And for me, like, that has been a game changer. So, I mean, I would say my life has changed in just the way I manage my stress, my issues, and it has given me the power and the tools to be able to like push through things that was just so much more difficult before.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I'm thrilled for you. I am thrilled for us to pick
Thank
back up in the
you.
fall, like have
Yes, me
a
too.
healed, they're not calling it a hot girl summer, they're calling it a healed girl summer.
A healed girl summer.
Right?
Yes.
Like that is you, absolutely.
Yes.
So I guess my last question would be to anybody that's watching, whether they're watching live or watching the replay. And guys, if you're watching live, I can't see the comments. And if you're watching on Instagram, I can't see the comments, but afterwards, I'm going to go back through, I'm going to respond. But what would you say to somebody who is watching, who's like, I'm scared, I've never done coaching before, I've never invested, like, I don't even know, like, what does that mean, right? I've never invested the money. I've never invested the time. I don't know if I can trust, you know, Nikkei to do this work. Like, what would you say to someone who's on the other side? So like where you were like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I would say I felt the same way. You know what I mean? And I mean, I knew you from, you know, before, like, you know, in other venues, and I still was just like, yeah, but I don't know her as a therapist, you know, as a life coach. Like, I ain't trying to just, I don't know her like that, you know what I mean? So I would say this. I would say that if you're thinking about it, you're already ready, and you already feel like there's more that you need to do. And I would say that if money is the fear, that's not even a fear, because money is just a tool to improve. It's not astronomical, and you know what I mean, and it's not like it's an upfront, you know, all of it upfront costs. You know, there's the money is always, and that's the one thing that I loved about Unikay, like, you know, you have payment plans, you were able to work things out, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, when I say like your commitment, and I don't want to sound cheesy because I don't endorse stuff like ever. And I, you know, like ever. Like,
and like, I am not a brand influencer. I am not repping.
I am not. I am not listen, if I was going to influence, I need to be on Shein, all the money that I spend on there. But but no, but like the way that this has changed me, and the game, and the game changing nature. And when I tell you, after you invest and after you do it, it's not over. Like, this is like a lifetime investment, because you're investing in a community. Like, there's always going to be, like, this is coaching, it's networking. You're going to meet people that you're going to always be able to tap into. You know what I mean? And that's always kind of going to have your back to an extent. And you know what I mean? And I would just say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to level up, is really what it comes down to. And even if, and especially, and not to exclude anybody, but I speak specifically to Black women, we care for everybody but ourselves. And whatever you need to do, I don't care, you got to do it. Because like you said earlier, like, if we're not well, we're not healing nobody. You know what I mean? Just not at all. You know, you're screaming at your kids, you're getting on your husband's nerves if you have one, you're getting on your own nerves because you don't know how to manage your stress. You know, you have to do, I encourage this, and I even trying to get some of, you know, my family members into it. Like, you have to get real with yourself. And sometimes that involves, you know, taking a step back, making an investment, and letting somebody else guide you through. So if somebody out there is on the cusp, jump off the ledge, do it. You will not regret it. And I can promise you that, because I don't regret one penny I've spent on this coaching, being a part of this community. It has all been like a game changer and really just one of the best things I've done for myself.
Wow. Oh, my heart is full. My heart is full. Like our last call, I was like just like running laps, even though I couldn't get up. I was like running laps. I'm just so thrilled to see you continue to just step into like that next best version of yourself, and the version of yourself that you are calling forward. Like all the dreams, all the things that you want for yourself, you are calling them forward, right?
Right. And you got to realize your life is so much bigger than you. You know, sometimes you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to all the other people that poured into you to invest back into yourself so that you can keep pouring, you know. And just for the people, just in case, this is not, I promise you, this is not paid endorsement. I promise you. This is free 99. But it's so important.
I'm so grateful, because this was actually your idea, and I was like, oh my God, I need to like do this.
No, and I'm glad you know set it up, because you know people, you know, it's hard, you know, sometimes to convince people of what they can't see. You know what I mean? It really is. And you know, if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. And that's just the honest truth too. But put it in the back of your mind and put it on the shelf, so when you are ready for it, it's a resource. Because sometimes you can only take yourself but so far. And what happens is you take yourself as far as you can go, and then you kind of just like, okay, well, this is who I am. But somebody once said a quote, and I'm gonna leave it here, because you know, like we said before the call, we could talk all night.
We could keep going.
Right. But this I'll leave it like this story, and some people may have heard it. I don't want to look like I'm plagiarizing, but how would you feel if you died tomorrow and you met the person that you could have become? You know what I'm saying? And it's an ode to like really and truly doing everything you can in this life, regardless what your religious background is, whatever your affiliations are. But like, are you really doing everything you can do to be the person that you want to be? And I had to ask myself that question. And I can honestly say, in a lot of times in my life, I wasn't. And, you know, and every day is not the same. Some days it's like, yeah, I better go ahead and get this meditation in before somebody gets slapped.
Absolutely.
Other days it's easier, you know, and that's life. That's life, but you got to have the tools to deal with it. I think it's no secret that we are in a mental health crisis in this country, and especially as minorities, you know what I'm saying, with all the things that go on, you know, how could we not be? And you got to do what you need to do to care for your mental health, just like you go to the gym, just like you go to the salon. It is so important, and I encourage it in any way possible.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so good. You know, I'm gonna echo a phrase that a beautiful leader in Cleveland uses. Her name is Habiba Grimes, and what she calls it is our constellation of care. And I love that so much, because you touched on it on our conversation today. It's yes, a therapist, yes, a hairdresser, yes, a nail tech, yes, you know, a community of girlfriends that you can hang out with and have a glass of wine with, right? Yes to a doctor, yes to the gym, yes to all this network of care. And I think when you add a coach to that network, you just up level your world. You up level your whole world. So Twana, thank you so much for your time and energy.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, if you're watching this, whether live or the replay, I'm going to get into the comments. I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to repost it throughout the next couple weeks. But listen, right now, today, I just did a post about a top secret program that I'm working on. It is really Ignite 2.0. So if you're watching this, you're getting just a little sneak peek of what I'm putting together. It's what Twana got to experience. She went through, I think you were in 2021, right? Your round was 2021.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So she went through the second round. So this will be the third round, and it has been upgraded, and it's just going to be a beautiful community of women who are ready to step into that next version of themselves. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in and that would support you, drop fire in the comments, and I will get in your DMs and give you all the details that you need. But again, my name is Nikkei Olabisi Green, and I am honored to serve this mission. I deeply believe that when women are well from the inside out, we can change the world. It's a chain reaction, y'all. It happens with us first. We have to put our masks on first, right? Us first, then our families, then the community, and then the world. Twana, thank you again. You are amazing. I know I will get to see you soon.
Yes.
Facebook, YouTube, all the social media world where this lands. I am praying love and light and alignment in your life, and reach out to me, because if you're watching this, you're ready and I want to work with you.
Yes.
All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Ciao.
Peace.
Ciao.